We teach biology here at Paul Smith College like no other school does. We cover the same kind of material in theory, but it's not so much what we teach, it's how we teach it. So rather than just read about it in a textbook or order some pickled specimens from a biological supply company, we actually go outside into the wild areas where these things actually live. And we get to know them in such a way that you not only learn about them in class or in the lab, but you also then come across them when you're walking across campus or going out in the woods on your spare time, and it makes the wild places more familiar and helps you see your place in the natural world too. One of the indoor types of things is we learn about animal skulls, mammal skulls. So in addition to just saying, well, we know how to tell this is a bear skull, we also study how it's built. So you see the teeth inside there, let's say. Those are the tools the animals use to make their living. So we can analyze a skull, even if we don't know what animal it came from, and be able to tell a lot about the habits and the ecology of that animal. Then another thing we do is we relate it to people. So for example, here's a copy of an actual fossil hominid, an ancestral human, and one of the reasons we know that is because of what we learned from the other skulls. If you look at the teeth, you'd say, well, I thought it was a big old ape or something like that, but because the teeth don't have the big pointy fangs, we know it's actually a relative of people, not of the other critters. And one more example I'll give you. In a lot of biology programs, of course, as they should, they'll teach you about microscopic life, because that's the dominant form of life in the world. But what most places don't do with you is show you that these little beings live all around us and inside us. And so it's not just something that comes out of a lab or a supply catalog. So one of our favorite things we do is we go out to the lake, which is right on the campus here, and we drag a plankton net through the water, which filters the water and captures small animals and algae that are smaller than a grain of salt. And we bring them back to the lab and analyze what's actually out there living in the wild in the lake. And you not only learn to use a microscope, learn how to identify these things, but you can use that professionally because people actually do environmental consulting with us. Also, it's an actual research project. Your first semester as an introductory biology student, you're involved in collecting the data that we got all semester and compare it to what students have got for the last 30 years. So it's a long-term monitoring study, and in that, we're studying the effects of climate and environmental change on the lake. So that's what we hit you with your very first semester at Paul Smith College. I'm Curt Stager with the Natural Sciences program at Paul Smith College, and these lakes are my classroom.